Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new season of Inside the Inferno. I'm Lauren Avenatti.
And I'm Karli Koskovich. What an exciting time to cover ASU sports. Let's start with football.
A big year for the program is now underway with the new head coach Kenny Dillingham and a freshman quarterback leading the offense. And with week 2 of the season almost here, let's take a look back on the Sun Devils' performance in their season opener last Thursday.
Sun Devil football made its return to Tempe for the home opener against Southern Utah at newly renamed Mountain America Stadium. ASU newcomers particularly shined in their 24-21 win against the Thunderbirds, including Cameron Scadaboo, who gave ASU their first touchdown of the season with the 6-yard run. But all eyes were on freshman quarterback Jaden Rashada, who in the first half completed 12 of 16 passes for 224 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 47-yard pass to Xavier Guillory on 4th and 8.
He's very calm and mature. So do you see freshmen that he a little quick on some throws? The game's just faster and you're getting excited on some third downs a little bit, but not mentally, not from body language, not from a leadership. None of those freshman characteristics showed up, which is awesome to see.
Led by Rashada on his 20th birthday, Arizona State seemed unstoppable in this football game, but the weather, now it had different plans. A dust storm followed by heavy rain and thunderstorms caused a 2.5-hour delay, causing ASU to lose their momentum, making the second half a very different story than the first.
Rashada's accuracy problems throughout the second half contributed to a struggling Sun Devil offense, but the defense was able to withhold the Thunderbird comeback.
I feel like I was in a pretty good rhythm, but like I said, the first time it was, that delay was out of my control, so I had to learn to adjust better.
The Sun Devils face the Oklahoma State Cowboys at home on September 9th. In Tempe, for Inferno Intel, this is Lauren Avenatti.
Great coverage, Lauren, and thank you to our entire team of reporters for toughing it out during that storm. Shifting gears, this week, ASU will take on Oklahoma State at Mountain America Stadium this Saturday. Let's check in with Stephen Buxton for a preview of the upcoming match.
Thanks, guys. Coming off last week's game, Kenny Dillingham and the Sun Devils will face off against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, a rematch of last year's game in which the Sun Devils lost 34-17. That game obviously was under Herm Edwards. This year, it's Dillingham leading the ship in his first matchup ever against the Cowboys. Someone else facing Oklahoma State for their first time will be Jaden Rashada. It was announced on Tuesday that the freshman quarterback would make his second career start after beating Southern Utah last week. In that same report, Notre Dame transfer Drew Pine will be coming back soon from a hamstring injury. Pine is expected to be available in the next 2 weeks for either their matchup against Fresno State or their first Pac-12 game against USC. Rashada's first half last week showed that he has what it takes to win with this team, but can he keep it going for a full game? Obviously, Dillingham and Rashada aren't going to use the delay as an excuse, but if it isn't to blame, then all eyes will be on Rashada going into what should be a fairly normal second game. The only difference, he's not playing Southern Utah anymore, he's playing a Power 5. Will ASU's line give Rashada enough time against the same opponent that held them to just 17 points last year? The Sun Devils will have their hands full on defense against this Cowboys team that averaged over 30 points per game last year and put up 453 yards last week against Central Arkansas. The one question for Oklahoma State seems to be, who's going to line up under center? Garrett Rangel, Gunnar Gundy, and Alan Bowman all took snaps at quarterback last week, and the Cowboys are still unsure of who's going to be their primary quarterback. Playing against the Sun Devils this week might force the hand of head coach Mike Gundy, and he might have to decide sooner rather than later. Regardless of who's under center, Coach Dillingham and the Sun Devils can exhale knowing that the weather should be on their side this week. Dillingham has talked about how much he wants to make Tempe into a massive home field advantage, and it will be this week. It's projected to be 107 degrees at kickoff, tied for the hottest ever at Mountain America Stadium. The other time, September 2013 against Sacramento State, when the Sun Devils won 55-0. I'm sure Dillingham and the rest of the team is hoping for much of the same this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Steven. Another program with a fresh start this season is ASU volleyball. The Sun Devils have a new head coach in J.J. Van Neal, some new faces on the roster, and a new court with Mullet Arena hosting some home games this season. Paisley Poole is in the studio to talk about the team's performance so far this year.
ASU volleyball is back, and now with J.J. Van Neal as head coach, the Devils have entered a new era, beginning with their big turnout in Mullet Arena for the Maroon and Gold scrimmage with over 1,750 people in attendance, and now a 7-0 record. Devils were off to a strong start with their first match against Florida Gulf Coast University. They swept the Eagles in Fort Myers with the first set score of 25-14, second set 25-10, and third 25-19. The exceptionally strong hitting percentage broke the ASU record with a .493. Junior outside hitter Jelly Sear led with career-high kills with 16. Another notable mention is Marta Levinska with 4 aces, 4 digs, and 4 blocks. And graduate student Mary Schroll played her first match as starting libero with 10 digs, 6 assists, and 2 aces. In the second match of the season, ASU again swept St. John's and once again to Ole Miss to complete the Invitational. In more news, ASU won 3 out of 4 sets consecutively to UTEP, San Francisco, and New Mexico State in the Borderland Invitational. Well, 6 wins was not enough for the Devils because last night, ASU beat the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks, now with an outstanding record of 7-0. Their next match will be away against Boise State at 5 p.m. tonight. Thanks, Paisley. And right next door to Mullet Arena, the ASU women's hockey team is getting ready to start their season at Mountain America Community Iceplex.
We are so excited to join forces with the women's hockey team at ASU this season, as Inferno TV will produce and broadcast their games live on their YouTube channel at InfernoTV-ASU.
And joining us right now outside is to tell us about ASU women's hockey is reporter Ari Wool.
Thanks. Well, the ASU women's hockey team has some big expectations this year after winning the WWCHL last year and making its first trip to nationals in program history. Now, with several newcomers to the roster, the Sun Devils will look to replicate last year's success and go back-to-back. One thing to look out for is where ASU will get their offense from. 3 of their top 4 scorers from last year left the team, but newcomers like Paige Ring and Evelyn Olsen will look to fill that void. On the defensive side, Hannah Coons and Mia Jarvis could play big roles on the blue line. Last year, the Sun Devils had a penalty kill percentage of 88.1%, and one thing that head coach Lindsay Ellis would likely want to see improved is the power play, where they converted just 16.8% of the time. ASU will start their season with a pair of scrimmages against the Arizona Kachinas right here at the Mountain American Community Iceplex on Saturday and Sunday before they officially open their season on September 28th by welcoming the team that knocked them out of nationals last year, the Maryville Saints. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for those updates, Ari. I'm looking forward to what Inferno TV has in store this year. Sun Devil Hoops released their 2023 non-conference schedule, and the slate is a challenging one. Douglas Santo is here to tell us who Bobby Hurley and his squad will be facing.
ASU men's basketball released their non-conference schedule for the upcoming season this past Thursday. ASU will open their season on November 8th at a neutral site in Chicago versus Power 5 opponent Mississippi State in the Barstool Sports Invitational. The Sun Devils' home opener will be November 11th versus Texas Southern, who they lost to in overtime last season. They will stay in Tempe to play UMass Lowell next before traveling to the Vegas Showdown to face BYU on the 23rd. They will face NC State or Vanderbilt the following day to finish out the Vegas Showdown. ASU then returns home to face Sam Houston State, San Francisco, who handed ASU a 37-point loss last season, and SMU. ASU travels to San Diego for their lone true road game before heading to east to Dallas for the Coast to Coast Challenge to face TCU, who knocked them out in the first round of the NCAA tournament last season. The Sun Devils will finish their non-conference schedule on December 20th against Northwestern at the Footprint Center as part of the Jerry Colangelo's Hall of Fame series. The rest of ASU men's basketball schedule will be released later in September. The Sun Devils' season opener will be broadcasted exclusively on Barstool's website at 7 p.m. Arizona time.
Thanks, Douglas. In wrestling news, a top ASU commit won a big tournament last weekend. How will this win translate to more success when he joins the Sun Devils next season? Inferno Intel's Jack Bartlett had more.
One of ASU's top commits in the class of 2024, Pearson Manville, made himself a household name over the weekend after failing to claim his second PIAA state championship by falling to sophomore Colin Rath back in March. Manville avenged his loss in the Who's Number One bout last Saturday.
I was upset. It was a painful experience in front of a good, I don't know, like 5,000 people. But being able to come back now at Who's Number One with a win, it was a good experience. And it made me, and I'm a lot happier with my result now.
Effectively a 2-0 lead for Pearson Manville. Looking duck is Colin Rath. 2 seconds to go, and Pearson Manville's going to do it. Escape and riding time. Pearson Manville's number one.
To be able to be the number one guy right now is a pretty great feeling. And now I am the number one guy. I gotta show people that for a reason. So
Manville will take that mentality and energy to Tempe with him when he joins the Sun Devils next August.
I trust the program, and I know they have full support in me, and I have goals, and also I have goals to help the team, Arizona, and I think we can and we will win a national tournament.
As a state champion and runner-up and the 27th ranked recruit in this senior class, Manville added the Who's Number One tournament to his resume. He says there's more work to be done headed into his final season of high school wrestling, but surely the Sun Devils will be in good hands when he heads to Tempe. From Inferno Intel, this has been Jack Bartlett.
Thanks, Jack. I know I can't wait for the wrestling season ahead. Now heading over to the pitch, Kobe Brunstein is here with some women's soccer news.
The non-conference schedule for ASU women's soccer is coming to a close, and well, they remain unbeaten after 7 games. ASU played host to the Sun Devil Classic last week against Boise State and Kent State, and they didn't necessarily win, but they didn't lose either. ASU drew both the Broncos and Golden Flash, scoring just 1 goal combined as a team. The Sun Devils traveled to Tucson on Thursday, September 7th as part of the Arizona Classic and beat Utah State 1-0. Ashley Lenhart sprung free in the 37th minute, striking her try off the post, but Flo Vaillancourt found the back of the net on the rebound, and it was all the Sun Devils needed to get back in the win column. Sophomore goalkeeper Pauline Nels secured her 5th clean sheet of the season in the victory and has allowed just 3 goals so far on the season. The Sun Devils will stick around in Tucson for a few more days as they await the Red Raiders of Texas Tech on Sunday, September 10th. Karli, Lauren, back to you guys at the desk.
Karli, this episode has been such a great way to start the season. I've had an absolute blast anchoring with you today.
Lauren, I'm so glad to be back in the studio, and what a treat to be sitting here at the desk together.
To stay up to date on the latest news, follow our social media accounts at Inferno Intel and check out our website, infernointelmedia.com.
For Lauren Avenatti and the rest of our crew, I'm Karli Koskovich. See you next time on Inside the Inferno.